Yo, YouTube, we right back at you. Today we're gonna talk about Fred Van Vleet. Fred Van Vleet, I'm sorry. He just became the new president of the NBPA, so the Players Association for the NBA. This was a role that was previously and actually currently still held by CJ McCollum. He's actually going to be, the outgoing president once Fred Van Vliet takes the role. Fred will come in and assume the role as soon as CJ's term is up. So there's still some negotiation with the owners and the off-season and collective bargaining agreement that's typically done every 10 years. But there's still some duties that CJ McCollum still has to fulfill before Fred takes the role. But he has won the role. He'll be coming in into the position. You usually see this position go to, especially as of late. I'm not going to say historically, but as of late, you've seen this position go to a guard. So if you think about it right now, you got Fred Van Vliet. Previously, you had C.J. McCollum, and currently, I'm sorry, and then Chris Paul had 2 terms. So if you think about it, this is if you think about the role of a guard is somebody who's going to be the floor general, somebody who's going to really run the show, dictate the flow of the offense, and a good one is going to be very sound defensively as well. So this is I mean this is huge, this big time because he's going to be the voice of the players. So you got some other important players in the league right now that are currently holding leadership roles with the NBPA. Guys like Andre Iguodala, you got Bismack Biyombo, Harrison Barnes, Malcolm Brogdon, Jalen Brown, Kyrie Irving, Gary Temple, and Grant Williams are currently in the leadership roles right now. So all solid guys. Obviously guys that are good players, but when we talk about these roles, there's a lot at stake in terms of being in a leadership role with any company or any organization or any union. But with the NBPA, you think about sports across the board. These are the guys that are really going to have to put their foot down when it's time to talk about things like salaries and terms of contracts and all the different things that year in and year out, when you sit back and look at the season and you say, well, hey, this needs improvement, this is something that might not need improving, but we want to make sure that we got somebody that's going to be firm in negotiations to make sure that they don't take this away. So Fred Van Vliet is going to be the guy coming in. I'm going to play this video for y'all real quick, just as one of the news outlets made the announcement.
Rockford's own Fred Van Vliet has been busy making Rockford proud on and off the court for years. Today, he notched another accomplishment under his belt. This is a major deal in the world of basketball. And today it was announced that Fred Van Vliet has been elected as the new president of the National Basketball Players Association. He takes over after NBA veteran C.J. McCollum. Sources tell ESPN that this will be a 4-year term as the next NBPA leader, and his terms are effective immediately. As the NBAPA leader, he will represent all the players and lead them in the players' union. This is a big deal because the kid from Rockford now becomes one of the most important voices in the entire world of basketball. From the best players in the world to some of the most powerful figures in basketball, he now becomes the middleman for the communication and future of basketball.
So you heard it. This is big news. I mean, I've always been a fan of Fred Van Vliet. Outstanding gentleman. Obviously, I live here in the greater Houston area. I've been to see him play a few times. He's always beat the odds. Starting out all state player in high school. Uh, Wichita State. Nobody really knew anything about Wichita State prior to Fred Van Vliet and the guys that he played with, but he led them to a 2013 Final Four. Then you're talking about a guy that comes in undrafted, shoot down to the D League with the Toronto Raptors. Then he go win a D League championship. Then he come right back and wins a championship with the Toronto Raptors in 2019. Sign a deal for 4 years, $85 million while he there with the Raptors. Set. You know what I mean? Set. But you know, that's a stepping stone. That's nah, we got more work to do. So what does he do? He obviously, like I said, wins the championship with the Raptors. Never been done in the franchise. Now, of course, they had Kawhi Leonard, they had Pascal Siakam. You know, they had some great pieces, but Fred Van Vliet was huge for that team coming in and winning the first title, Toronto. So, you know, after that, you know, he you know, Rich Paul and Clutch Sports, they get him out here to Houston on a 3 year, $130 million deal. So what's he doing? He's still setting trends. He becomes the highest paid undrafted player ever at this time. Big time. 2022, he becomes an all-star for the first time. So we talking about a guy that's just continuing to set trends. The NBAPA, the NBPA, I'm sorry, is going to be in damn good hands moving forward with this guy acting in a leadership role. You know, being the voice of the NBA, being the voice of all the players. And I think that those guys are obviously they wouldn't have voted him in if they're not going to be confident that he's the guy for the job. But you know, I don't think anybody is looking at this like this isn't the right guy for the job. So we applaud you, Fred Van Vliet. We're looking forward to good things. You know, from an agent perspective, this is something that, you know, we want somebody to come in and not be a lay down, somebody that's going to come in, push for change, somebody that's going to be able to come in and make things seamless in some cases for agents and players to go get paid and see favorable conditions coming from the owners, because let's face it, the owners are obviously going to try to protect their best interests and not come up off the bag or pay as little as possible to get the top talent. But you know, we got to continue to push the envelope, push the button year after year. We got to come in and continue to increase the salaries. You know, make it more favorable in terms of the amount of years on the contract, guaranteed money. Remove all of this funny language from the contracts that say things like, "Hey, if you're gonna get arrested, then your guaranteed money is gone." So, and that's not fair. You got some NFL guys that's currently right now going through language being placed in their contracts where they either not signing those contracts, or if they did sign them, they might potentially suffer from it, because it's one thing to get arrested and then it's another thing to be convicted. So, you know, it's NBA is in good hands with this man running the show. That's all I got for y'all today. Tune in to the channel, Life of a Trendsetter, at Mike Sign, another one. We're going to keep hitting y'all with fresh content. Do me a favor, man. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you made it this far in the video. Because like I said, we need your support. We don't need you, being a hater. Because if you watch this far, obviously you got some value out of the video. We're going to keep providing that value for you. So hit that like and subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers. I'm sorry. We got to get monetized first and foremost. We're doing this because we love to do it and we want to grow our businesses. But for the thing that's gonna get us there in the short term is getting to 1,000 subscribers, and y'all can help us do that. So go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, peace.